Well, there goes Buddy the dog. I thought he was following us, but I think he's taking a alternate route. That's fine. So it's kind of cold and wind is blowing. What do you call, let's see, would the word be brisk morning? No, miserable. That's it. Yes, winter is miserable. But there's nothing we can do about it. So we gotta just keep plugging on. The one thing that we started, and then it started raining, was this fence. And I really would like to get it, you know, where it was a complete fence again. So we're gonna get started on that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. We started building this fence. I've got it, well, till right there, it's good to go. The rest of these, they need clips put on every post. They're just, I have all the panels hanging with, you know, one on each one. That way we could get our spacing, see? Because down here, we're gonna drill some more wood post holes. And so this T-post is going away and we will replace it with wood. And our target is down there. So, yeah, the only way we're gonna get after this is just doing it. And it's probably gonna be a muddy mess, but we're out of good days, I guess. So we need to just keep plugging away and make it happen. Then we can get our trailer empty, see? So I just clipped this here so that this wouldn't, this panel wouldn't be flopping all over the place. Hopefully it will stay, will it stay nicely out of the way so we can drill our other post hole? Or will it be a problem, you know? We'll probably, let's see if we can, there. That'll hold it away whilst we turn that hole into a wood post hole, which means we got to use the 770, which means we better hope that it'll fire up and do its thing. This is an exciting video, I know, but if you want videos, you got to watch what I do every day, and that's what this is going to be. Better move this can of Zep. I brought that down here to fix up those fence pliers. They were getting kind of stiff, and I'm telling you what, this stuff is just amazing. A few little sprays on there, work it back and forth, and it's like it was never ever stuck. I mean, pretty amazing. Before I climb up there, I probably ought to make sure that it's going to actually do the thing. Did I? Oh, I never disconnected nothing. Let's give it some more choke because I know it'll need it. Oh no, it doesn't need it. I forgot, this one floods out. Come on. Come on. Yeah, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Don't let it fool you though. The second we want to move, it'll start sputtering and what have you. Ooh, brake stuck? No, there we go. I don't even think has a brake pedal in that side. I don't remember. This might be the one I took a brake disc out of because it was acting up. How we are here. Actually should come back a little more. It's hanging. See, the terrain here, I know I've said that before, but on the GoPro you don't get that this is not flat. So the tractor is sitting downhill, which is making this hang this away, which is making it not be what we want. We need to come back another, well, that much. Let's drop the post over here. Okay. Now let's give it some onions. Bad as I thought it would be. I figured it would be sloshy, muddy mess, but not too bad. Come on. Probably just let it run since it's cold outside. Unless that's going to, we'll see in editing how much vibration you're getting here and if you can even hear anything. Well, that went relatively painless. I know there will be people who say, well, the thing looks crooked because the fence isn't, you know, the lines of the panel aren't But like I said, we're going downhill. So put the post straight, put the fence crooked, and do the best you can. That's how that works. So now we got to drill 2 more, and it is sticky enough that it's now all over the, like my shoes feel like they're 50 pounds heavier now, but that's okay. It could be worse. So I'll get me on board to lay out where we're going here. Then we'll space her out and drill 2 more. And yeah. All right, become a fence. Yeah, I wish that worked, but it doesn't. I gotta actually do it. So 2 more holes. I think that middle one needs to move over a little bit. Sometimes it's easier to visualize it when you, I'll do that one, put it in the hole, and then do the middle one to split the difference. But you know, if only they made some type of measuring device that a guy could hold in his hand and bring out here and get it figured out precisely. But who's got time for that, you know? We'll just do it by looks. Then we've got our gate here that I rescued from the road. I did some experimentation with the gate we took off the other end of this, thinking, well, maybe I could use that, because the only purpose of this gate will be to let them through into whatever. And in order for the spacing to come out right, I really need the 16-foot gate, because that'll put us more in line with that tree. Basically is where we're headed when we go this way. The bale fence is kind of crooked, but the split of the other pin is right there where the tree is, so we're gonna head there, and that would be a good place to put a wood post, you know, and then work this way. So anyway, and then I think we're gonna go, when we hinge the gate, it's gonna be hinged on the post on this side so that it can fold in this way and be tied off against the one that's going here, and then that'll do. But it kind of looks straightish, doesn't it? You know, you stand here and you look across and you see everything else in line. Some of those T-posts might not be just quite perfectly this way, but we'll worry about that at the end. We can manipulate things. We got a lot of work to do yet before there's a lot of finishing work to do too, you know. I'm mainly worried about getting posts buried and whatever, so that if it gets colder and freezes, I'm not going to be able to be digging post holes, you know. So that's what I'm thinking. But we'll put us a couple more here and make this happen. coming along. It's just got to get that post set and then nail some boards. And then do it all over again for 3 more, you know? Ooh, nope. All right, I think we're good to go. We probably got them slightly closer together than what they should be based on the amount of overhang here, but that's okay. It's easier to deal with a little extra than not enough. But we'll get that nailed up here. But I gotta quit and go get the nails, because the nails I think are in the back of the pickup. Last time we did this, it was warm and I had a different coat on and I had a bunch of them in my pocket, and I think that they're in the back of the pickup now. So we'll get that. We better make sure we have enough too, because I've been using quite a bit. But we'll get that put up. We'll get a panel put on the back side, and then this gate will go up here as such, and I want it to hit the back of the post there. Like such. And then that way it, yeah, it'll be in there like this, and then the post will be here, and that'll take us pretty well up to that tree. It might take us not to that tree, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. 16 foot I thought was what I wanted. Probably want about 15 and a half. No, I don't know. 14 foot would have probably been good, and I think that's a 12, which is too short. So I mean, I guess there's no right or wrong, but I'm just, now I'm second guessing myself once I've visualized it out, you know, how it's gonna be. I think that I might need to go to a shorter gate now that I think about it. That's why we do this, you know. Oh, awesome. I like it when I honestly don't remember what these are, but I think this one's a 12 foot, because for a while I thought 24 foot would be all the wider I would ever need. Then it turns out that I start buying four-wheel drive tractors. Yeah, So if that one is there, well, by golly, that might be closer to what I was wanting. Based on how it worked out, I think this is what I want, the shorter gate. It's amazing how that it didn't work out that way when I had all the stuff laid on the ground, but now that I got it pretty well where it needs to be, I think we put the post right here, and this little short gate's going to take us right where we want to go. So I'm cool with that. That's kind of what I envisioned to start with. It's just things look different when you finally get them set where they need to be, but I think that's going to work fine because it'll touch that post. It'll be here. This fence will be in line with that tree. This will be able to fold up against it, and we're headed towards that end. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it, friends. We'll drill some more holes here, and then we'll be able to, when we finish this section, then we can redo these wires, and then this will be a complete fence again from one side to the other. So interesting stuff. Now, in order for this to do what I want it to do there, actually the gate will always be a little crooked so that the posts are in line, you know. That's just the nature of doing it this way. You know, because I want the post to hit the back of the other post, or the gate to hit the back of that post, but I want the pins to be on the end of here so that it can also fold against itself this way. So got to cheat a little bit to get what you want, but yeah, we're coming along, friends. It makes you feel good, like you're making actual progress when you know, see the stuff coming together like this. So I'll go find some nails, and my goal by the end of today is to have this, at least all the wood posts set and the wood part done, and then we can tackle the rest of that on the next one or whatever we got to do. But I would like to get this done so that we can finish this piece, and then sometime we'll start heading this way. You know, that may not be yet for a while. I don't know. I'm going to plug along as long as the weather permits, and as long as you know, the conditions are fine. If the ground starts to freeze, why, then we're not going to be digging too many wood post holes, I don't think. That thing would probably cut through it, because it would take a long time of being frozen to really stop us. But no need to tear up stuff and all that. So yeah. All right, it's a good bit later. I had to run to town to pick up something. Actually went and got that voltage regulator and put on Dad's tractor, and that fixed her right up. So that's good to go. But the whole time I was looking at this, my brain was kind of like thinking, is this really gonna be square, you know, or somewhat square? And the more I would stand here, I would think, well, I'm way off and I need to be this way or that way or the other. So what I did is I laid this board out, kind of pointed towards that tree, and then you know, like where I want to end up, and then I flew the drone up in the air to see the whole picture from up above, and it'll be pretty darn square. I mean, it's going to probably be off by a little bit, because I don't think that this fence and that fence are just perfectly parallel, but they're very close enough that we can make it go. So I don't know what was getting me, some type of optical illusion when I was standing here earlier, and I was thinking, well, this isn't going to be right at all. And so I don't know. I managed to double check, and this is going to come out like I want. So short gate. We'll save that one for something else, and then we'll put our post there for this gate, and then we'll be able to head straight that way towards where we wanted to. The 3 posts on the bale thing are not right. They're kind of curved in, so we're just mainly worried about that tree. That's where the panels split, and we should be able to make it happen. So anyway, that's how it goes. I don't know. You want to do a good job because you don't want to have to do this oversea. So I'll put you right there. I'm going to try to get my coat pockets lined out here where I can actually get the nails. They're pretty full of all kinds of crap already, you know. So yeah, but I think we'll get her done. This was not my best work. I missed it on both ends, really, for what I wanted. Oh well. We'll salvage it. It just didn't come out quite. It's a trick to get it, especially when you're working on unevenness, you know, to try to make it look eye-pleasing, but also, you know, do the thing that it needs to do. But I think that's what we want. So we will space the others accordingly, and then we should be good to go. I'll put one in the center one. Let's make sure it's what we want. I think it is. That's pretty good. All right, we just got to finish nailing, adding some nails, and then we're good with this. We need to probably do some, well, we do need to finish clipping that, and panel on the back side. That might be kind of high there with those. I don't know. That's about right, about according to what I have everywhere else. Yeah, I mean, I'm not changing it now. See, we're going down in this valley, so it's kind of different. And then you're probably saying, well, you got so much sticking up top. That's on purpose, friends. I gotta have some place to run my electric wire so that I can connect and send power down that way. So I want some room on the top of every post to clip my electric wire, and then that will be able to send that on down the line where it needs to go. So, you know, that way you have choices of, like, for instance, if something falls on the fence down there, I could disconnect it at the corner and still have electric here and on the road side, but just the end that the thing's on is dead. If you only have electric going in one way, as in other words, if I would send it from there all the way around and make it come back up this way, then if something falls on it, it's going to be dead all the way to wherever the block is. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. In case that isn't clear, there is a method to this, believe it or not. But it's amazing how just that simple thing can be a workout for a fat guy. But when you're wearing 50 pounds of coats and then getting up and down and all kinds of stuff that resembles exercise that nobody likes, why, it'll do it. Now, we probably ought, well, I do want to finish nailing that so I don't forget. But we should, I do want to drill these post holes tonight yet and get this section done too. Because when that's done, like I said, then we can work on that. Putting that back together, we need to shorten up. Basically, the wires are strung. They're just way too long now. So what my plan is I'm going to, well, I do have to change the end because I don't think that there was any springs down there for whatever reason. They, let's use this post, stay. See, this was always meant to just be a temporary fence. And so it kind of became more permanent over time. But when it was put up, that's why there was no springs. I don't know. It started out as a lighter duty wire fence. Then it became this, and it all had fiberglass posts. And then I started using steel posts whenever the fiberglass ones would break, and I don't know. It got out of hand. So we will put in the appropriate springs on one end, and then we'll put some ratchets on this other end so we can tighten her up between everything that we're doing, and then we should be good to go. See, look at how it's rained so much that this is just soupy almost. Just pull that right out. Get all tangled up in our wire if we do it right. Yep, that's sure enough what we're doing. But yeah, we can now continue on our way, and hopefully here in a little bit we can say we got all of our post hole drilling done. Although what we might end up doing is, I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but we might, if it doesn't rain, it's probably going to rain, but if it doesn't rain, I'll go get a couple more posts and some boards, and we'll start that way, just right here to get that going. But we'll need I don't know how much stuff I got on hand. We're pretty well going to have the panels licked right here. I think is there 2 or 3 here? What have I got left? 2. So that takes care of that wood section and this wood section. And I have some more up at the barn that I bought for something else, but we can start using them wherever we start working first is where we're going to start using them. You know, I'm going to make sure to throw this over here with these other 2 or 3 so that when they grow up in the weeds and I forget about them, they really destroy the mower really good. That's what we want there. But progress finally, you know. It's hard to look out the window and see a job like this that was half done and nothing was able to happen because of the weather. But yeah, I think my big priority here right now is going to be drilling post holes, getting that section the same as this, and then that's probably going to be the end of our sunshine for today, because that's how life works. It seems like it gets darker early every time. So anywho's, I believe I'm going to set you down and probably stop filming so that I can actually focus on my work here and make this happen. But I like what I'm seeing so far. It's nice to see a plan come together, you know. So we'll get this drilled in here. It's going to be about right there where it is, because remember we said we're going to have to fudge with our gate a little bit to get it to do what we want. But yeah, we'll make this happen. All right, friends, I did accomplish what I wanted to do before the sun went down, which was get this all done through here. All I got to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts worth. Put some clips to hold the panels to the posts. Otherwise, everything else is done. Well, the GoPro's starting its wintertime tricks now. It gets too cold too, and then runs out of battery or whatever. But we got to hang this gate and then one gate over there, and about 6 posts worth of clips, which I might do right now. We'll see. And then we're ready to restring this wire, which is just going to be a matter of going to the other end, getting it hooked up the way that we want it, and then we will just pull it tight right where we are. I might unhook it from the post because I might end up redoing some of those posts. I don't know. We're coming out pretty close to in line. But anyway, use your imagination there. So we got way too much wire now, because we got wire all the way from up there. So we'll have to cut, but we need to do the other end first, because there's actually about 16 feet too much on that end, because it's going all the way to that old fence, and I'm going to hook it to the corner of this, what we built this fall. And then we'll have 2 sections like this to pull against, and that'll keep that tight. I got a big problem through here with deer. Deer like to hop through there, and they will rip on this fence and the one by the road. Although I will say, with the Cyclops hooked up, they have seemed to leave that one alone. So they must have decided to jump totally over it, or, you know, go a different route, because that Cyclops will light you up. So anyway, we will redo whatever needs to be done here. But I'm saying that another couple hours of work here, and we could have this back open for business. You know, I could let them back out on here to exercise or clean up whatever remnants are still there that they might find tasty. I don't know. But the hardest part is done. And like I said, even if we run out of weather and we can't go that way anymore this winter, at least we didn't lose ground. We got a fence back across here, which is nice, because then if they accidentally break out of one, there's some more stuff to stop them before they get to the road. I don't like them to just be able to help themselves. But yeah, we made good progress today, and this may be the only good day of weather we have for a while again. So that will determine our plan moving forward. But we could very easily start in this way and make this happen. This came out just about right. I mean, it's pretty well in line with that tree if you look at it the right way. So we can make our way that way. 2 16-foot gates I have down at the barn that are a mate matching pair, so I won't use that one. I'll use those two. Those will be the gates in here to go from this to that, you know, with the tractor and mower or whatever. Cows can go that way too. And then we might take that other 12-foot gate, and when we work on that nighttime pin, I want to redo it too a little bit, because it's old woven wire fence that's grown up in the trees, and I'll probably move it out on the other side of the trees, start with new, you know, clean area, and then just put that other 12-foot gate in there, maybe down in that little valley there between those two trees. And then I could, in theory, let them from in there only in here without having to come in here. And you could have multiple variations of how you have them, you know, have some split up in here, have some whatever needs to be done. If you have it set up already, you'll have choices, and that's something that I haven't ever had. I've always had to just make do with the minimum of whatever, and then hurry up and cobble something together if I needed to isolate something, and I'm over that. We did pretty good on cattle this year. I don't have a problem with throwing a few $1,000s at fence to improve the situation, and try to do a little bit every year and maybe have us something, you know. But if we could get this one closed off, then that would be 2 pins for nighttime, that I call nighttime, but more secure pins. And then if I could finish that one around the barn that was in really rough shape, and I ended up just tearing out a bunch and starting over. But if we could get that done, then we would have 3. And the biggest thing I'm thinking is, in the wintertime, you have a bad snowstorm. The way I have been doing it is I could have a hay ring set up in here with a bale already ahead of time, and I could have one behind the barn set up already ahead of time, and have gates closed. And if you had a terrible snowstorm blizzard, instead of trying to move hay through it, all you'd have to do is open a gate, and they could get to another bale to get you another day and what have you. So that's a big part of my thinking, you know. And if eventually I need to get more hay rings too, but they're $400 a piece, but they'll last forever. I will only buy those rubber ones from now on, because they definitely do the thing. They last forever. But I wouldn't be opposed to having 4 more of those rings, and then I could have 2 in here and 2 behind the barn, and just keep moving them, and might even just move them anyway in the wintertime, so they don't rut up one place more than the other, you know. But it would just things that I've noticed over the years that would make it more handy to work with. And I think that's what I'm after. So I don't know, maybe you find this dumb, maybe you find it interesting, but it's satisfying to look over this and see, you know, look at what we got here. I mean, we got a whole new section of fence, and wasn't cheap, but hey, we did recycle some stuff we already had to make it what we want, and we're going to be in a lot better shape when we're done. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.